youth them a champion. Nothing too hard for us to overcome. Work hard enough for yours will surely come. God bless the youth and make them shine at the sun. The youth them a champion. Nothing too hard for us to overcome. Work hard enough for yours will surely come. God bless the youth and make them shine at the sun. Tell them some me ancestor blood them a flowing on me. Forward, forward, turn back, no in a way. They use them powerful and Babylon society. So them set out them trap, so them do it wisely. Heart strong like a lion, can't stop you from reaching a Zion. Firm like a rock, hard like a steel, can't call it iron. Say we different, can't blow it down like no zinc fence. The youth them a champion. Nothing too hard for us to overcome. Work hard enough for yours will surely come. God bless the youth and make them shine at the sun. The youth them a champion. Nothing too hard for us to overcome. Work hard enough for yours will surely come. God bless the youth and make them shine at the sun. Muhammad Ali in his prime, youth them ready to go shine. Keep focused on.
How can we as a television show and an organization help you to basically get out of here, find your own jobs, become entrepreneurs, and how can we have your voice reach the masses?
The major problem I see affecting young men in my community in particular is the lack of educational opportunities. So in addressing that, I believe that what we ought to do really is to sit down with the gentlemen and have a discussion about the issue that they are facing. And by having this sit down, I mean not just them alone, but the persons who can actually lead the charge from up top, ministers of government, etc. And then from there we can find exactly what the solution ought to be going forward to ensure that this problem is addressed.
A lot of issues, not just in my community, but I believe these issues affect the wider society. We put it on an umbrella of male marginalization, but there are a lot of factors that contribute to this marginalization of males. Absent fathers. Some of them youths don't have parents at home either. That's a contributing factor. The educational system. The curriculum itself, I believe, is skewed towards females. And for that reason, you find that the university campus is reflecting 70 to 30% ratio in terms of male, female. And those are the things that cause society to really fail. The marginalization also extends to violence in the communities. And the violence in the communities, again, it's not a one-off thing. It's contributing factors of, again, the family, the other social institutions that are the duty of the church. You know.
We're going to keep going, but however, let me ask you, anyone on the panel, the curriculum skewed towards females. I want you to elaborate on that a little. Do you agree? Or you want us to explain that a little bit? Well, I can't do it. Only you can explain. When you say it's skewed mainly towards females, what exactly you mean and how?
When you look at the curriculum, you look at the subject areas, and you find that it's more theory, not so much about practical stuff. Males tend to be more hand-on. And if it is that, and you have a lot of institutions, if it is that your school not really performing below standard, they don't really push for persons to get involved in the technical areas. So a lot of the so-called traditional high schools, you find that the furthest they go in terms of technical subject for most of them is technical drawing. So in terms of auto mechanic, plumbing, those subject areas, if you're not a part of a technical high school or what is considered to be a failing school, then basically the Jamaican term, dog, I'm a supper.
Men aren't fulfilling the roles they're supposed to be fulfilling. And I mean, it's painfully obvious. You're having women raising children all by themselves, young boys not knowing how to become a man. They don't know where to start. And so they're led onto different paths. I mean, there is the issue for music sometimes. The music can be quite violent. Yet because they lack a father figure, you know, they gravitate towards these kind of things. So you have our men being violent. You have our men being rapists. I mean, so many sensitive issues can be brought about and linked to this absentee father.
Can a mother be a father? We hear that sentiment all the time. Can a mother really be a father?
In my opinion, not really. I mean, a mother can do so much and no more. I mean, she can, a mother show you love, nurture, care, every single thing. But there's just this one substance that we need to be whole, and that's where our fathers come into play.
I'm Shamal Thomas, president of the Game of Life Foundation. It's a foundation, it's a philanthropic initiative geared towards making donations to primary schools across the island. That's football donations in particular. One of the main reasons for this is to develop more student athletes across the island, so that one way or another, by way of either academics or sports, you can excel. If you have more rounded youths, then that can contribute to a lot of things. Progressive youths coming out of the country. I'm from a inner city community, Duane Park. Recently, like a day or two ago, one of our friends got 5 shots in his face.
5 shots?
5 shots in his face.
Was it a pass-by thing or a mix-up thing? Or?
I don't even know what contributed to, but
condolences.
So that we're from a volatile community and we have to try everything that we can to get out of areas like that and try to carry as much youth as possible with us. We can't leave them in there because eventually, without absentee fathers, because that's one of the reasons, because they're not the father figure in them life. So I'm gonna go look up to the bad man of the community because I'm gonna reach out to him first and give him a gun. So if me can put something in place, you know, we can say, all right, here we get the opportunity of making a youth taking up a ball or a gun, then me want to make a youth take up a ball.
Clap him, clap him, clap him!
Old grammar schools, there was a system where you'd learn not just book, but you had to be involved in sports. If you look on Eton, other countries, other schools outside of Jamaica, if you look on a QRC from Trinidad, a St. Mary's from Trinidad, when you read the books, you find that it isn't, for them, is not just only about getting some good grades, but sports was an important part of that, and CLR James speaks a lot about that as well, the importance of sports being involved in education, and that is how you end up having the holistic development. That's how you end up having persons that are disciplined. It gives a drive.
In my community, many of the men are on the road sitting, doing nothing more than smoking and so forth. And what I get to understand and see of a fact is that many of them are migrating. What is happening in my community is that the foreign white women are coming and they fall in love with the men and they are so happy for the green card. So all of them are just flying away, and then in my community, the men are becoming less.
I think one of the issues we're faced with, especially among men, is the lack of ambition. I think that too many of our men lack the drive to further their education or make better of themselves. So I think this can be addressed by the community and the surroundings, because it's a society that is responsible for molding the youths. You can take, for example, the University of the West Indies, 75% females, 25% males. This shows that coming out of high school, females are more inclined to like make something out of themselves. Females are more inclined to do that, and in the end, obviously, what will happen is that if 75% of the persons going to university are females, that means in the end, 75% of the workforce will be females, and this is a really, really important point, because that's really bad for men, because it shows that women are dominating, which should not be the case, not to be biased, but I think it's a problem that should be addressed.
One of the recommendations which I've been making, something that I did last year as chairman of the President's Task Force, is that parents need to start saving earlier for their kids. So the house already through the gate here, but for the future, and for these young men here, it's up to them to start saving from their child, from birth, to ensure that by the time that child is 18 and has to enter the university, then there's something for them. The next thing is that there are a lot of bursaries, scholarships, grants out there. Right? Haven't spoken to a university administrator a few weeks ago. They told me that several millions go uncollected in terms of nobody applying for these scholarships.
Hold on. What you just say again? Say it again.
Several scholarship opportunities placed online are not taken up. So while somebody is here and can't pay the fee, there's money that is there from a developmental fund that nobody's applying for. So it's really up to you, and they are here, they know they can consult us as the persons who are seasoned in this university. And also go online, check out the university's website, check out the Ministry of Finance website, the Ministry of Education, find the opportunities.
I remember being at a committee meeting, and this had to do with the STEM initiative that they plan to put in, and that has to do with science, technology, English, and engineering and the mathematics, right? And I was assigned to go and hear what the students have to say about this initiative that they have planned. And one of the things coming from that, and I recognized it firsthand, was that most of the times when it comes to technical courses, when you hear that a young man is doing welding or is doing woodwork or is doing any of those skill-based activities, I recognize that Jamaicans sort of just put them in a particular class by themselves and say, all right, these are the persons that are not going anywhere. And one of the questions I would always ask is, how do you, engineers are not dunks people, they are brilliant. So how is it that you shun the persons who have the skills in the society? And so the young men, yes, it's pretty much all males that were in that particular class, and they looked at me and they said, that's the situation. Some of us, we're not very good at English, we're not very good at maths. The teachers just put us one side and just don't even consider us at all. So there's no support where that is ever concerned. My thing is that we need to, each person has a particular talent, has a great potential. It's just for us to tap into that and channel it in the right direction. And if that can be done with young men, because for the most part, they need to be able to associate themselves, to find some place of belonging, and that's why sometimes they will resort to gangs, because this is where they feel comfortable. They don't know anything else outside of this. This is what they feel, the sense of belonging here, the sense of pride. So if we can channel their potential, their talents into the right direction and let them feel some pride in themselves and become motivated to go over there and do the best that they can, then it's going to be a different Jamaica.
You say my champion, nothing too hard for us to overcome.